A new poll shows, about 8 in 10 Democrats are satisfied with Kamala Harris in stark shift after Biden's bow-out. Vice President Kamala Harris appears to have energized Democrats in the early days of her candidacy, with the surge in warm feelings extending across multiple groups, including some key Democratic constituencies that had been especially tepid about President Joe Biden. About 8 in 10 Democrats say they would be somewhat or very satisfied if Harris became the Democratic nominee for president, according to the survey from the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research, which was conducted after Biden withdrew from the race. In a separate AP Nork poll, taken before Biden dropped out but after his debate against Republican former President Donald Trump, only about 4 in 10 Democrats said they were somewhat or very satisfied that he was the Democratic Party's likely nominee for president. The rapidly changing views among Democrats in such a short time span underscore how swiftly the party, from rank-and-file voters to elected officials, has coalesced behind Harris as its standard-bearer, motivated by the fresh face at the top of the ticket and newfound confidence in the party's prospects against Trump in November. Some key Democrats believe that she's up to the task, can do the work, has proven that she's running a strong campaign so far and maybe on a bigger level, she's somebody that can beat Donald Trump. All those factors have ignited an enthusiasm in Hines that wasn't there when Biden was still in the race. Americans are also more likely to say that Harris would make a good president than they were earlier in July, a shift that was primarily driven by Democrats. They still see a tough contest looming, though. A majority of U.S. adults, 56%, say that if Trump and Harris are their party's nominees for the general election in November, Trump is more likely to win. There are other indicators of growing enthusiasm for Harris, especially compared to Biden. About 7 in 10 black adults and about half of Hispanic adults would be satisfied with Harris as the Democratic nominee, a marked increase from earlier in July, when about half of black adults and 15% of Hispanic adults felt satisfied with Biden as the Democrats' expected nominee. The share of younger adults, those under the age of 45, who say they would be satisfied with Harris as the nominee, at around 4 in 10, is higher than the 17% who said they were satisfied with Biden in July. The new poll shows that Harris's overall favorability has risen slightly, from 39% at the beginning of the summer, before the debate, to 46% now. Democrats' opinions of Harris have also shifted in a slightly more positive direction. 8 in 10 Democrats have a positive view of Harris, up slightly from around 7 in 10 in early June. Harris would be a historic candidate. She would be the first woman to win the presidency, as well as the first black woman, the first South Asian American, and the first Asian American. Around 4 in 10 Americans say that it would be a good thing for the country to elect either a woman or a person of color to be president. Even more, about 6 in 10 when asked about electing a person of color and about half when asked about electing a woman, say it does not matter. Majorities of Democrats, however, say it would be good for the country to elect a woman or person of color. Views of Biden's decision. Most Americans, 54%, say they have heard or read a lot about Biden's decision to withdraw from the 2024 presidential race. About 3/4 of Americans approve of his decision to withdraw as the Democratic nominee for president, including most Democrats and Republicans. For many Democrats, Biden's catastrophic June 27 debate showed that, even if they were largely satisfied with his accomplishments during his time in office, the incumbent president should not be running for a second term because of concerns about how his age was affecting his public performance or his ability to campaign effectively against Trump. Even as the new Harris campaign has reasons for optimism, the vice president faces an opponent who is better known by the country and who has a reputation for a loyal base of support. Most Americans perceive Trump as having the advantage going into the November election. A majority of U.S. adults say that if Trump and Harris are the candidates, Trump is more likely to win. About 9 in 10 Republicans say Trump is more likely to become president, while only about 7 in 10 Democrats say that about Harris. Do tell us what you think about this video in comments section and subscribe for more U.S. election news.